Okay, so today we have a lot to cover. We have some huge ban list changes. I think this is the biggest ban list, easily the biggest ban list update we've ever had. So what I decided to do is I created a tier list of this is the decks. It's a loose tier list and it's subjective. Like I didn't play that much. Like I played in February and I played in the tournament, but I didn't play that many games. This is just either theoretical, what I think, or from other people's like word of mouth, whatever. This isn't perfect. This tier list is definitely not perfect. But the idea is that I'm going to loosely rank these decks. And then we're going to go over the ban list changes and we're going to see how. I'm going to try and guess how these decks are going to move around and try and guess what the new meta is going to be. I've only played, I think, 3 games. After the ban list changes, I've only played 3 games and they're all with War Beasts. That's all I've played. So I don't have a good idea at all. So we're going to try and predict and see how the meta is going to shift with these new changes. And then in a month from now, once the March tournament ends, we'll see how well we did. But it's also to give you guys an idea if you're not sure how some of these decks work or what these changes mean, an idea of how it's going to shake things up. So just to recap the previous meta, Strike and Burn were definitely on top. If you hang out on the Discord at all and look at like ban list discussion or meta analysis, people are always talking about these two decks, either complaining about how strong they are or just saying we need some nerfs, whatever. And these two decks are definitely super strong. Burn was basically beating everything, pretty much beating everything that isn't Strike. And then Strike was pretty much beating everything that isn't Wise Guys, with some exceptions. Like you're not gonna win every single matchup. But yeah, these two decks were definitely on top. And then I originally had like an A tier, but I did split this up because I think RAR and Wise Guys both do decently well into the top 2. Wise Guys is very well to Strike and can win into Burn. Like that's a decent matchup. RAR, same thing. RAR's more decent matchup into the top 2, like could win, but then has a really good matchup into Wise Guys, like laterally here. And Mach is also up here. Okay, the thing with Mach is it was really, really kept in check by Burn. Burn just pretty much destroys that deck. But even other, like, because Mach wants long games to build up counters and just completely outvalue you and completely destroy you, which is great into Wise Guys. Wise Guys doesn't have Mind Match, right? Amazing into Wise Guys because they're such a slow deck. They're trying to outvalue you. Any deck that's slower and trying to get value, Mach completely outvalues. There's a lot of different lists. You saw lists with Chalk. You saw lists with M-Swat and Partsoa, but Mach is always there. And you have attacks like Ice Sheet, which is, I think it's 5 damage per mugic counter, so late in the game that can hit for a lot because you can build a lot of counters on your front line, which is usually Laminkle. So that deck is a monster if you don't have the right setup. So Burn is good, is keeping in check. Strike, which is a really quick deck, could lose sometimes to Mach. Wise Guys was losing a lot. Ra I never played into Mach. The nice thing about Ra is you have Zelf, so you can jump their backline, and you have Enrihep for recklessness. But I think you can still lose that matchup too. That's how strong Mach is. Ursus, usually the Burn version, has also lost to Mach. It can win, but it's also lost. But then I think every other deck down here is losing. I don't think Danian Burn can beat it. Maybe Compost. If you're running Ice Discs at 2, because the Stress Sounds abilities, maybe you can beat it. But it's so strong against decks that don't have the right counter. It just obliterates them. That's why it's A+. Then we go on to A tier. So Ursus was like sneaky good. It didn't perform well in the tournament, but it's just there's a lot of different ways to build it. It's kind of, that's why I didn't write Ursus Burn. It's kind of like a toolbox. Like you have a bunch of different ways to, bunch of different flex spots you can throw in there. But it's very solid. It's kind of like solid into everything kind of thing. Like it can win every matchup. And then Sysops is the other of the 2 best mixed decks. And it does what it wants to do really well. Moves counters around with Naina. It has the sisters, Avena and Navena, to either burn or to heal, and you're healing for 25 or burning for 25. It's a very solid deck. I think it just is edged out a little bit by the top decks here, but it's better than the rest. So then some of these B tier decks I just didn't play. Like I've kind of either played or played against all these decks A or above, but I also didn't see them that much. Like Compost, Danians felt weak. So Compost and Nime are down here. They're not garbage. They're playable. They can definitely win some games, but they were down here. POP also felt weak. I don't know. It felt like outvalued by Mock. Wise Guys has a better matchup into Strike. It could lose into Burn. Rar can jump it. Ursus can burn it. Sysops can outvalue it. Like it had some tough matchups all above here. Maybe it does beat, I don't know. But it had a lot of tough matchups, and people were just saying it feels weak. Blade is a deck that I haven't seen or like I haven't played or played into, but it's supposed to be decent. It might even be like, I don't know. I just haven't seen any people play it. It could be higher. It could be A, but I don't know. I haven't seen many people play it. It was Booyah that was telling me, one of the mods on the Discord server saying it was pretty good. So I trust his word. That's why it's not garbage, because I've never seen any Bladez decks, but could be good. It's kind of like a Bladez burn deck, but it doesn't use Coupon like this does. I use Nime, or sorry, not Nime, Nevena. Could be good. I don't know. Then there's Tree Frogs. This is pretty standard. This is basically the best mixed Lankertosh deck that you can see. And then you have Blasvitan. Also, this B tier is definitely not ordered. Even this is not really ordered. It's just like within the tiers, it's not ordered. War Beast, like Blaz is always solid, but Killeron's a weakness. Malvadine as defender is pretty good, but you don't get the ALAV bonus. And then you lose to Burn. You lose to like Proboscis straight up. There's just too many decks that just take you down. And then you can lose to like any, like Maw can outvalue you. Wise Guys can outvalue you. Rar can just out-tank you sometimes. Strike and Burn. Burn especially is really hard to deal with. You can beat Strike and Rar, but you can also lose. Ursus Burn might be able to burn through you. Sysops might be able to outlast you. It's tough. And then you're losing, like POP can beat you, Nime can beat you, Compost can beat you, Bladez Burn can beat you. Like there's too many decks that can beat you here. Especially when you have only one, well, foreshadowing for later, but especially when you only have one Blaz, it's very tough. You lose them, you're done. That's also another problem with POPs. You lose max, or you're pretty much done. Then Elementalists have, like, I think they used to be garbage. They've gotten better. Apocalypse is no longer unique. Interest Nature Force is no longer unique. It's had some buffs, so it's playable. It's not bad for sure, and it's a good beginner deck. Then you have Danian Burn, which I haven't really seen much at all, but there is a version that uses Strain of Infection to get a bunch of counters on Quad. I think that version's pretty good. I haven't played it much. It might even be A tier. I don't know. I just haven't played into it or played it. Not too sure on that deck. And then Grand K Control kind of died when Malvadine got loyaled. You could use Loma as a defender, but it's not nearly as strong. And you're running air in that deck or some discipline attacks. Like it just kind of, I haven't seen it at all since Malvadine got loyaled. I think it's just garbage now. And Hurricane's a mixed deck that you're trying to get counters on Hurricane and heal, but it just feels like it tries to do what Sysops does or what Mock does, like the healing, but just worse. It's just a worse version. And that's it. It's just healing is its thing. Where Sysops has multiple things. Mock has like M Swan, Partsoa. Like it feels garbage to me. Oh, I forgot to add Proboscis. Proboscis. Okay, wait. I'll be right back. Okay, we're back. So I forgot to add Proboscis Tosh. It's pretty much garbage. Like it has a cool gimmick with Proboscis where you can snipe supports. But there's just not enough decks where that's enough to beat it. Like maybe it's good into Mock where you can snipe some supports. Maybe good into POP. It's really good. It's super annoying into War Beast. I know that for sure. But a bunch of other decks, like you can snipe supports. I'm not saying you can't, but I think you still lose. So there's just not enough decks where that gimmick is enough to carry it. So it's garbage. Anyways, this is the rough tier list before the changes. let's start looking at what happened. So here, first thing is legendary changes. So legendary just means if two cards are legendary, they cannot be in the same deck. So if you have like if for some reason Malvadine and a Waiki were both legendary, you couldn't both play them. You can't play both of them in Strike. That's the idea. So let's look at the legendary changes first. So first thing, Scepter of the Infernal Parasite, legendary removed, loyal removed, unique. So this is the gear that's used in Nime that I think it's either if you're infected or I think it's if you're infected. If your creature's infected, you get outperform all disciplines 5. This is a cool thing to loyal remove. Yes, it encourages new mix and stat-based deck builds. I don't know where you can slot this in, like maybe in tree frogs, but again, you need to be infected. You could slot it into tree frogs, maybe Paraskar Tosh, like any of these stat-based decks, like those two. Maybe a version of Ursus can run that. Like if you're running Discipline Ursus. It's not easy thing to slot in here, and I don't think it makes any of these decks jump up because none of them can already easily infect, right? Like Nime can already easily infect, so it works perfectly in there. And it's running Discipline attacks. So I don't know if that bumps anything up. Okay, so all of this here, these changes, it's exactly to limit Ursus. So Ursus Toolbox has been really strong, like over a course of a long time. Here, yeah, A tier. It's been really strong over the course of a long time. Like years. But you'll see the reason that it's being taken down a notch is because, well, you're gonna see. You're gonna see why. There's a reason. It's kind of getting balanced a little bit, not just nerfed. So these all being legendary mean they can't be played together. And often Ursus will run like the backline is lore, or the sports is lore, Tafiel. You can even see all 4 of these together. Or like Garv, Naina lore, even just Naina lore, Tafiel lore. Like all 4 of these being legendary really limits the flex spots in Ursus to take down its strength. And it does, weakening strikes available options just means you can't run Naina and Tafiel together. That doesn't usually happen, but another spot may be opening up in the deck, as you'll see in a little bit. This, take it to open overall. Okay, so here, legendary is removed because Sysops runs Tangeth and it runs Naina. So if legendary was not removed, you wouldn't be able to play both together. The deck kind of dies. It doesn't die per se, but Tangeth is definitely your best possible defender. You'll be forced to run Loma, just not as good. So that makes it sure that Sysops is untouched by these changes. Here we have Lore High Muge of the Hive Legendary, Elemental Elegy Legendary. So this is because Elemental Elegy was banned. This is saying we're going to make it unbanned, but you can't play it with Lore High Muge because Lore High Muge will let you cast it twice. And they're saying it's going to be too broken. So, but this Elemental Elegy coming off Legendary means this is definitely a boost to Danian decks. But see, they also want to run Lore High Muge, so it's a trade-off, right? It's a trade-off between running Elegy or Lore High Muge. I think Compost could run it, but doesn't have to. Nime doesn't have to. Danian Burn could swap from Lore High Muge to normal lore, honestly. You could do that. And then run Elegy. I don't know if it's enough to bump any of these decks up to A tier. Maybe it slots well into the Danian Burn play style. I don't know. Let's see with more changes. But I don't think it immediately slots it up. It's a very good mugic though. Novena, Legendary Unloyal. So this is the Novena where you have 3 counters, and then if you have an ability to, after your creature's done damage, you can give them element 10. So element of any attack. So like fire 10, earth 10, whatever. But they have to already have done damage. So you're also making it legendary, so you can't, I see it says limiting interaction and repetition with the Inna, so you can't play it Novena and Inna together. But this is really good in mixed elemental decks. Where can it be slotted in? Ursus usually isn't running earth attacks. I don't know how good of a slot in it is in Ursus. You also are trying to fit all these other things in Ursus, so I don't know how good it is there. Other mixed decks, like Sysops isn't running that. You're running Nevena. Like the other Nevena. Um, Bladis is already running it. Tree Frogs is Disciplines. Maybe Elementalists can run it, actually. Actually, that could be cool to slot into Elementalists. That might be not bad in there. But I don't know where else you're running that. Maybe Hurricane because you have weak damage. It'd be interesting to see. I think maybe Elementalist can run it. Or even Grand K Control can run it. But Malphitine's dead. Or so we think. Anyways, Arbeed, Legendary. So it's Legendary and Unloyaled. So Legendary, so it can't get thrown in with any of these. This is another thing for mixed decks. So mixed decks are kind of getting some buffs. Like you have Nevena, you have Arbeed now. And Elegy is not loyal, so you could also run Elegy. Oh, that's a good point. See, so Ursus getting all these things legendary, I would say it's in B, even maybe even garbage. But you still have you can still run one of these, and you can run Elegy now. Like you have a lot of options. I don't think it's A still. I think it's B. I don't know. I think it's B. But there's some options here. There's definitely some options. Where else can you run Arbeed? You can throw them in Oh no, you can already throw them in there. You could throw them. I don't know. It's good. It's nice for mixed decks, but a lot of these mixed decks can't fit it in. I think it's also giving room for new forms of obviously I'm not. These are not all the decks that you can play, and not even all the decks that could even be B or maybe even A. I've missed. I don't know. There's a lot of decks out there that can definitely compete. So it could also be helping to bring rise to new decks. Okay, now the creature changes. So these are pretty sick. Yeah. Plasma Tanzet 2. Yeah. Let's fucking go. That's why I was playing War Beast before. That easily jumps them up a tier. 100% easily jumps them up a tier. Might even go higher. But for now, I think we bring them to A. That's such a huge... because Killeron's trash, bro. Compared to Blaz, Killeron is so bad. Now... I'm not gonna just jump it A or because the problem is it's glaring. The glaring weaknesses of the deck are very glaring. As in, it's kind of easy to force a showdown into it, and it's Proboscis just destroys it. You're still really weak to burn. It's kind of like it's rough. When you're running into a deck like my first game in the new meta, I ran into Proboscis, got absolutely obliterated. Your weaknesses are just a straight up loss. That's the problem. The best decks to run, I find, don't have an auto loss matchup. I like RAR because there's no auto loss matchup. There are matchups you're not favored into, but there's no auto loss. So I don't know. And even with 2 Blaz, I can see losing to any of these 5 decks here. 100%. So we'll bring it to A, see what else goes on. Okay, so this was a huge change. So Malphitine got limited to 1. It was at 2. But it did get unloyaled. And we have Enrayhat Pymuge of the Desert. So this is to nerf it, but to bring it back. So it's kind of so unloying Malphitine for mixed decks. Inclusion of Enray is going to make it different builds. But you're still losing Malv. I think it's an overall nerf, and I don't think this is S tier anymore. I would even put it in A for now. Double Malv is really important. Double Defender, he's definitely easily your best fighter. Enrayhat will definitely help to get around decks like Wise Guys where they have negates, but I'm hesitant to even put it A+ for now. I think we put it at A. Now the unloyaling of Malv is nice. Grand Cake Control is back. And I would even put it A tier. You have a lot. See, Grand K is all about, it's like a toolbox deck. You have a lot of options. You can run Arbeed in there. You can run Nevena in there. There's a lot of options. I think with Malphitine back, people might be able to make something work with this. Maybe B. Maybe we'll put it B for now and see what happens. But I think this is definitely a nerf to Strike. So Strike getting nerfed makes burn at the top. Wise Guys even might be a bit lower now because Wise Guys does decent into burn and not great into either of these. I would bring Wise Guys down. because changes to one deck definitely affects others. So Strike was keeping Burn in check, and Wise Guys was kind of keeping Strike into check, which kind of brought it up. Now I think they're all around this level, and these decks are on top. Let's see what else we got. Yep, Burn's getting nerfed. That makes total sense. It was at number 1 here. So it's a straight up ban to Copon. So that's going to hurt it a lot. Copon is key. I would even put it down here now. I mean, you're going to put maybe Nevena in the back. Maybe you're going to put a slot in a 4th fighter, but losing Copon is huge. That's a lot of damage. Like that extra 20, all the extra burn, like even though it's only extra 20, every 5 damage matters. Because a lot of times you're barely killing a creature. So losing that 20 damage is actually pretty huge. So I'm going to bring Burn down here. I don't think it's dead just off that. You still have double Omar. You still have really strong fighters. Like, I think it's A tier now. I would say it's A tier. But that also, Strike and Burn getting nerfed actually helps War Beasts. I'm hesitant to put it because I don't know. I don't think you have a good matchup into these two decks. Sysops will be tough, but you're feeling a little better into Burn and Strike. Burns probably still beats you, but you're feeling a little better. I think it's pretty good. That's a pretty good change. And then Ursus is at 2. So this is, yeah, any support shell, limiting its options, limited a lot of options, but I don't know. I think it's still pretty good. I think two Ursus and you have Lord Von Bluten on the front, and sure, you have limited options in the back. I think it's still pretty good. I would put it back in A, if I'm being honest. But I think I like how this is kind of bringing more of the decks down and more together. I like this a lot. I definitely like this a lot. And then, okay, so this is good. This takes out completely the chalk version of Mach, but you still have Mach, M-Swa, and Partso, which is really strong. It's still very strong, but these decks seem to be more together now. I would probably keep it like this. Also, Copon being banned, like Nevena more, I think Blades is apparently really good. It runs Nevena. It's pretty similar because it also runs double Omar. I don't know if there's much difference now. I would keep both of these here. I'll put Blades here. Especially because Mach is going to get seen more play. Warbeast with 2 blasts will see more play. The Underworld decks will do well into both of these decks for sure. Oh, and I was also going to say Mach being really strong and Warbeast being up there and Sysops. Proboscis is really good into all 3 of these decks, right? Because you can... you might still get outvalued by Fluid Morphs, I don't know, but you can yank Mach. You can yank some of the supports here. You can yank the Conjurers here. It's pretty good. I'm hesitant to put it in A. I don't think it's A, but I think it's not garbage anymore. I think it's playable. Okay, location changes. This is very nice. Puro Force at 0. And because Warbeast hates Puro. I would run Notes of Neverwhere just for Puro before, like I've done that. Sysops also kind of gets screwed by Puro. Strike is okay with it. But it's a nice boost to Warbeast. But I'm not going to put it A+ still. You're losing Dranicus Portal, which was nice for Ixik, Warbeasts, and Ursus. Like, it just is a denial. But this really helps Sysops. Right? Sysops hates Dranicus. Like, Sysops is looking pretty good. Like, I think these two are... I think this is top of A. It's kind of... I don't know. It's hard to know. I think these are all A, and it's gonna be interesting. Let's just look at the rest here. Okay. Attack changes. Mind Mash to 1. I think that's really strong. That's going to help you into Wise Guys by insta-killing people. But you're so weak to Mach. If Mach is... It's hard to put Wise Guys here when Mach is here. Because Mach just does so well. Even with Mind Mash, you have a Partsoa. You can just bring their disciplines down. So I don't know. We're going to keep them there. This is pretty big. Inner Flood to 1. Every single water deck is going to get boosted by this. Sysops, no Dranicus, Inner Flood. Inner Flood is great in this deck. Nothing here benefits from Inner Flood. Danian Burn loves Inner Flood. Elementals, I don't know how much it's going to help. Herkin loves Inner Flood. You can get out of the garbage bin. I think this is, yeah, I think Danian Burn loves Inner Flood. And Danian Burn might even be a really good pick into mock because you have Elemental Elegy as well. It could be pretty good. Let's see what else we got. Okay, Warbeast. Oh yeah, this got to 0. Ixik really likes Leash. Oh, and Phoenix Belt. Yes. Yeah, Strike sometimes runs Belt, but Burn, it's another 10 damage that Burn's losing. Like you're losing, you run Nexus Fuse instead, but you're losing damage, and sometimes you're running double Belt Nexus, so one of your creatures can't have Nexus. I don't know. And you're losing Leash. Like, Leash is huge. I would put Ixik here, and I don't know. I'm going to put Burn at the bottom of A. I'm hesitant to put Burn any lower. I don't think Bladis is running Belt. It also kind of nerfs Ursus a little bit because sometimes you're running Garv and double Belt. I would put these down here. If we're ordering, like Danian Burn, Bladis, Underworld Burn still exist, but I don't know if it's even like Mock is very strong, especially with Inner Flood. Warbeast is liking the nerfs to Burn though. That's really nice. I just don't think it outvalues these two decks. Wise Guy says Mind Mash. I would even do, I know Strike is Enrahep. I would do something like this, I think, if I'm ordering the tiers. I think Mock and Sysop, especially with Inner Flood. Wise Guy says Mash. Danian Burns looking nice with Elegy and Inner Flood. Then Warbeast, then Ixik, then Strike. Bladis, Ursus. Like, these are the 3 burn decks. I don't know. It's hard to know what order these are in. It's hard to know, like, I think I'm going to keep it like this for now. There's a couple more changes coming, though. There's mugic changes. So we're going to do Consuming Cacophony Loyal. That just prevents, oh yeah, it prevents stacking with Enrahep. Because you can run Heptad's Crown on a Mepenian deck and just copy that. That does kind of, I don't know if Ursus is even running Consuming Cacophony, so I don't think it cares that much. This is big, though. Melody Mirage to 2 is really nice. Melody Mirage is such a strong mugic. It's like, and Refrain of Denial to 1. Interlude of Interruption Loyal. So this nerfs mixed decks, and then this does nerf Overworld. But I think Sysops is still really strong. Wise Guys losing Rod is important. Oh, and Strain of Infection. Okay, there's a lot here. Yeah, because prevent combos with Enrahep, because there's an infinite counter. There's a way to get infinite counters on Enrahep if you have Strain of Infection, so it's good to ban that. Lore. But this hurts the Danian Burn version when you're getting all the stacks on Omquad. I think that's a big deal, to be honest. Wise Guys. Okay, so these got nerfed, and then these 3 got buffed. We're gonna do this because they both got double Melody. We're gonna do but Burn is also weak. See, all these decks got nerfed, but then these decks, okay, this got nerfed. Your Herkin, I mean, you're running Interlude. This kind of got nerfed because it's Overworld. I don't know where Tree Frogs is. It just seems too slow to beat these decks, and I think it straight up loses to these. Compost and Nime didn't get any nerfs. They kind of got buffs, and like they're both running water. I would put these up. I put these here, but it's hard to know. But I don't know. I think there's might still be Compost. I like though. I put Compost here. Maybe like this. Tree Frogs grant key control. It's hard, and then it's hard to order these tiers. I think this is maybe Pop. Still feels weak. I think it's better than Hurricane. I think it's better than Elementalist. I think it's better than Proboscis Tosh. Grant take control. I don't know. Maybe it's top of B. Maybe we'll do it like this. We don't know about Grand K. We're gonna put this here. Proboscis Tosh just feels good because it's good into the top decks. I like that Warbeast is like maybe the 3rd best deck. That's pretty cool. It's just I just don't like that it has such a big weakness. But these are huge changes. Oh yeah, and then there was changes this morning. Okay. So Fluid Morphs got nerfed. Mock got nerfed. Inner Flood went back to 0. Okay, that was fast. And then these. Okay, so Ice Sheet got banned, and then Minor War kind of does the same thing. It's just one extra BP that got banned too. Okay. That brings these two down. So what's at the top? What is at the top? I think, if you think about Ixik, you lost Portal. You lost Renicus Portal. But you gained Melody of Mirage, and you did lose Leash. But you gained Melody of Mirage. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. War Beasts, they're just, I don't want to put it, I can't put it A+ because there's so many glaring weaknesses. But it just feels, if a deck can't just straight up take advantage of you being so weak to one of your conjurers dying, then you're pretty good. But then it might be an auto loss into burn decks. I don't know. It'll be interesting to try out. But I'm going to keep it A. Mock lost Ice Sheet and Inner Flood. Put it A. It did lose a lot, and apparently Ice Sheet was a big deal. Sysops lost Inner Flood. This is interesting. I don't think, like, all these decks kind of got nerfed. Maybe Ixik got nerfed the least? Let's put Ixik in S. Is that the best deck? It might lose to War Beasts. I think it's pretty good into Strike. Wise Guys. It's pretty good into Danian Burn. It can kind of tank. Compost might be pretty good. Let's see. I would do something like this. Maybe. I think something like this. It's going to be very interesting. Okay, let's do a final one here. I think Ixik is S tier. Even without Leash, is it S tier? You still have Zelf, you still have Enrihep. What are you losing to? Maybe Mock, if you can outvalue, but you can jump it and you have Enrihep. Compost, you could lose to, but you have Alav. Sysops might be able to outvalue you or burn you. Unquad doesn't have Strain of Infection. Wise Guy. I think this is maybe bottom here. Sysops still feels very strong. So does Mock. War Beast is with the weak. I'm going to do... I think Loki Compost is good, especially because Ice Disc is really good into these. Compost here? Danian Burn, then Blade is Ursus. I don't know. It's hard to know how good Ursus is. Like this? Maybe like this. Okay, I think I'm going to do this. This is my final list. Rar standing alone? Is that really what I think? I think you're good into... This is a pretty good matchup. I think you're winning this. You could lose to Compost. You could lose to War Beasts. You could lose to Strike, but I like your chances. I like your chances into Wise Guys. I like your chances into Danian Burn. I like your chances into Ursus, Underworld Burn, Blades, Nime. I think Ixik might be S tier. I think Rar might be S tier. Wow. Is it really S tier? Okay, I'm going to have to playtest this, but I think this is going to be my final list. Okay. We're going to see in a month's time how wrong I am. We're going to see what happens. Watch Tree Frogs dominate the meta. Okay, anyways, those are my thoughts. I think that's all the changes, right? Yeah, those are all the changes. There was a lot of changes, so it's going to be very interesting. I think there's also going to be new decks that might show up. There's a lot of buffs to mixed. So that's a really... Mixed, I feel like, that has the most room for creativity. And so there's the most room for new decks to show up. So I think that's pretty cool. So I like that mix kind of got buffed a little bit. And yeah, I think this is where I'm going to end off. Yeah. All right. Don't take this as gospel. Play for yourself and form your own opinions, but this is just my preliminary thoughts. But anyways, I hope everyone enjoys playing the new meta. And I'm excited to see what everyone brings to the next tournament.